YouTube, short little video. I've been playing around with my camping setup, based more on extended stays. So I'm fixing to show you what I've got so far. Now you got to remember, a lot of what I've done is budget minded. You know, I don't want to spend a lot of money on what I don't need right now, or should I say what I don't really want right now. I have a goal and a plan, and like my next purchase or item will be the annex to go underneath my smittybilt tent, and I will then purchase the awning that comes off the side, possibly the one that you can make into the room with the sides. You know, all that's coming. I don't want to spend the money on it right now. I'm starting out on a budget, and you know, some items I've already purchased, and you know, we're growing from there. We started out with a ground tent, and now we have a rooftop tent. So you know, y'all just kind of follow along as we progress. But here's what I've got so far. Of course, I've already had the truck. You know, that was just a vehicle I chose years ago, paid for. There's nothing wrong with it, so I'll continue to use it for now. Maybe down the road I might decide to get a Jeep, but I don't know. Until I start having problems with this, I'm going to keep running it. I do have the KO2 all-terrain tires. They're in good shape. They've been lasting a good time, so they're good tires. I also upgraded my shocks to Bilsteins. This one is set on the middle setting, so it leveled out my truck before the front of the truck sat down. This Titan has the tow package. You can tell on most of them that it has a tow package because it has the slide out mirrors. And of course, we purchased the smittybilt rooftop tent. I built the rack out of metal I had laying around the house and this channel that I bought from the hardware store, which with that channel there's little brackets you can buy. Not this, I made that, but this one slides in this so you can adjust and adapt stuff to your rack. I already had the black boxes in there. I keep my tools and stuff in one of them, and then the other one has my spare battery, solar panel box, inverter, straps, cook stove, heater, you know, all the camping stuff that I use. On the other side over there, that black tube is my hot water, or solar shower as you might want to call it. It's great for washing dishes and rinsing off when you're nasty. You want to cool down, you can wet your hair, you know, and stay cool. It's worth every dime I have in it. All the parts for that come from the hardware store. I have a video on how I made the rack, kinda. I have a video on my solar system. I'll have a video on my shower tube over there. So pretty much you can find all the information on my YouTube channel. BF Goodrich sent me the stickers for my truck. I still have to get a spare for underneath to match the ones on the side. There's my Coleman cook stove, which I love. I made a propane tank bottle holder out of a Motor Guide trolling motor stand that I had laying around, so that didn't cost me anything. There's one of my water jugs that I carry, and it normally sits over here by the propane, and I have this bicycle lock that I can lock my propane and that water bottle in over here so someone can't just take off with it. We have a porta potty and another water bottle up there in the front corner for refilling the solar shower if there's not a stream nearby to dip water out of. There is my solar panel box. That's just a cheap one from Harbor Freight, and I plan on upgrading that soon. It'll probably be the third or fourth item I purchase after the annex. This is my homemade canopy, side room, whatever you want to call it, to get out of the sun, have a little bit of privacy, maybe a wind block, get out of the rain. I have left that up in a rainstorm, and I had to come out a couple times and just push the water off the top, even though I lowered that one little bit. But other than that, it withstood pretty good winds and rain. I have a light strung from my solar box over to there. There's actually two of those, and it'll light this whole area up very nice. I cut these posts from some old cane that's growing along the railroad tracks behind our house, and I put little tent stakes attached to the post so it'll slide through the eye of the tarp. And of course I added straps to hold everything where it needs to be. So it really works out good. It didn't cost me nothing but the tarp. I had everything else, and it's a nice area to kind of kick back and hang out. And like I said, I eventually am going to put the canopy on this side that'll come out with the room. This is just temporary, and it's going to get us by until I come up with the money to buy it. But right now I just want to get out there, and this is getting me out there. Plenty of room to do what you need to do. These are the Harbor Freight solar panels, which I plan on replacing. All they're really good for is keeping enough charge on your battery to run lights, the lights that came with the system. I have run a few other things, and a fan and stuff like that, and the batteries seem to be okay the next morning. Now, I did buy a 600 watt continuous 1500 watt max inverter, and that's what I use to plug the fan into when we're up in the tent, or we're sitting in there if we want a little air. And the inverter has a built-in alarm that goes off at 11.5 volts. So when your battery gets, to that point, it'll let you know that, hey, you need to shut it off or recharge the battery, get something done. But what I did is, I was telling you that this truck has the big tow package. So all the big tow package trucks with the 7-pin plug in the back has a 14.5 volt charging wire going to the plug where you can keep your battery charged on your trailers. So what I did, let me walk around here and show you this. I have a battery in this black box, and right now solar is hitting it. That's all I have plugged into it. And let me shut my tailgate. So what I did here, okay, it's plugged in, but I'm going to unplug it because when the solar's on, it says it don't matter, but I like to unplug it. But I just took a regular old plug that I already had, and it was made for one of the 6-pin adapters or to plug in there, from the trailer. And I actually have one of those that I could have wired into, because all you need off of this plug to charge your battery is the power wire and the ground wire. And that's what I did. I cut everything else out, I put silicone down inside there. I'm going to completely fill it before I'm done. And you know, it just plugs in here. It stays up out of the way. It fits up in here tight enough that I can actually leave it when I'm going down the road. But it goes up under the bumper. It comes up through here, the side tailgate, which I'm going to make it to where it stays over in this corner. And then it goes into my box. And it's wired to a plug that I can, you know, I can hook it up or unhook it from the box. I also have a inline fuse going to the battery, in between the power source and the battery. So if anything, you know, goes wrong, it'll throw that breaker and or fuse and hopefully not mess anything up. But I did test it with the voltage meter. When the truck is running, you're putting out 14.5 volts to the battery. When the key switch is on, there's 12 volts. And when the key switch is off, there is no voltage at all coming out of that plug. So when I'm going down the road, or if I want to just start the engine and put a little quick charge on my battery that's in this box, all I have to do is crank the engine up and start charging. And you know, if you're moving from camp spot to camp spot, by the time you get to your next camp spot, more than likely your battery will be recharged. It's, you know, depending on what you run off of it. But I can, when I get my Dominic or Arb freezer, whichever I choose to get, I'll be able to keep the battery that it's hooked up to charged up when we're going down the road. And when I get my 100-watt solar panel, which I plan on getting, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to mount it on the front of this rack. There should be room, and I'll make it to where it can pivot. And I'm also going to make it to where I can actually remove it and have enough cordage that I can move it around to find the sun, just like if I had to find sun with these solar panels, I can move that all the way around the truck. And you know, it's really handy being able to move it to find the sun, because I don't want to tear all that down to move the truck just to find sun. So it needs to be able to come off the truck and move around. You know, a lot of the stuff you're seeing is just stuff I've made and rigged to make work. It's just, I don't know if I showed you these, but these are PVC that's hose clamped into the corner of this angle iron, and then this metal pipe fits inside that PVC. And then I have a tip up here that the eye of the tarp fits over. Let me show you the back one, it'll probably show up better. Here we go. This is the PVC pipe, which I painted black. And then I have these little metal things inside the hose clamp. And when I tighten this hose clamp, these squeeze on the PVC and make this to where you can't move it. So I normally just leave it snug to where I can, you know, with a little force, slide the pole up and down. I put that clip on there in case the wind comes up, it won't fly. The tarp won't fly off my pole. So it worked out pretty good, and all that's going to come off once I buy the awning. But for now, this is usable. And you know, I told you all about my solar shower on my other video, and I watched a video and the guy had drilled a hole. He just had a cap, and he drilled a hole and he threaded this on there with a nut on the back side. Well, I did that to start with and it leaked. So I went and I adapted it down. There's an adapter here, adapter here, adapter here to fit my faucet, and that worked great. And up here is your air valve, Schrader valve, and this was a cap that screws in, and I did drill a hole there. There's rubber washers on each side of this, and that keeps it from leaking. And that's where I charge about 15 psi with my Stanley Fat Max. And you know, it works great. And if it runs out of water, I've got spare 5 gallons in the truck. And if that runs out, normally I'm around a stream or a lake, that I can go get some more and put in there, or run by someplace and just, you know, get some water, fill it up. It's not a big deal. It does get warm, and you know, when it's summertime, I don't like hot, so lukewarm to cool is better for me. But it's really nice. You get hot, you can just, I've got a shower nozzle in the box that fits here, and I hang it around this pole, and it, you know, it shoots out, and you know, you can wet your hair or whatever and cool down. So it works out really good. But I've just kind of given y'all an overall of what I've done so far. Even these shovel mounts, I rigged up with stuff I already had, and I just loosened this nut, and this slides up, and the shovel comes out. But you can see it's not going nowhere. It doesn't rattle going down the road. But eventually I'll buy actual shovel mounts, and I still have to get my farm jack and mounts for that, and I have to get my max tracks and, you know, stuff like that to go on here. These don't look that good, but they hold my shovel well. I take this nut off, and then the shovel pulls out. It's not that hard to do. I don't know if I showed it. We do carry a porta potty with us. But anyway, this is our setup for now. We're going to be going out this weekend, and I'll be sure to make some video of it. I don't know that we'll set this up because it's just going to be a weekend trip, and this is more for an extended stay, but we'll see. And once I get the annex room, I probably won't even mess with this over here anymore. We'll just have to see. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. Y'all have a great day.